Yeah, we will. I will tag Val and Peter the Falcon for running the NOPEN last weekend, and I will also thank them for putting GG in the in there as a shout out. We appreciate that. Gets the word out. Lets
And
people
they
know.
randomly decided to talk to me on Friday night when I was blackout drunk. That was probably not. That was their only bad
I
decision.
have a feeling that you were slated to do some extra content potentially on the channel, and then you had this conversation while intoxicated, which may have resulted in your termination from other said procedures.
Possibly, possibly, my friend. However, I have no
Oh my
memory of
god.
it. So to me, I did nothing wrong.
Do you remember you texted me about, I don't know, 40 text messages at like between the hours of 1 a.m. and 4 a.m.?
I uh, I literally went through my messenger and just started
Yeah.
deleting my own text my messages so I could be less
I
drunk
like
embarrassed about
I like how you texted me the next day and your text was, I like reading drunk text messages I sent you. Just like
it. I had no idea. I have all these conversation threads. I'm like, what is
random.
even going on?
Officially,
Officially, no one knew he was drunk. How did you not know I was
there's an
drunk? I was
official
in another
statement and a
dimension.
non-official statement. Although I think overall, really impressed with everything on the NOPEN. Really good for the hobby and the game, and the production quality on the streams were all awesome. The shoutcasting by Paul was really good,
On
and
point, man.
yeah,
Really,
and
they did a really good
they
job.
both did
I
a really
really
good
like
job shoutcasting.
it is a colossal effort, man. And people like the thing is that they had to coordinate, multiple streams from multiple countries. You know what I mean, from all over the place to get this done. And I thought it went off pretty well. You know
And
what
I
I mean?
and
There
I
was
think,
really no hitches.
did Paul and Adam like do the shoutcasting the whole time, like the entire
Pretty
weekend?
much.
Like that's crazy, man.
Yeah, they rocked it out, man.
Wow.
I sent a message to Paul yesterday, the day before, whatever, and I just congratulate. I mean, it was strong. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? They had to
I
bounce
gotta send him
through.
a congratulations. I was trying to bust his chops a little bit on the chats, just bringing up some funny old stories, give him some more content. He talked about the no shirt game where he had with Reese at Adepticon, where he takes off his shirt like round 5. He's like spinning it around the air. I just remember that. I don't know, it's a big one for me.
I yeah, it was strong though. It's just crazy that it was a lot of getting people together and stuff like that. I liked it a lot. I mean, I liked the idea of it a lot. I'd like to see more one-offs and stuff like that. Tell you the truth, like collaboration kind of things, because I think it helped a lot of people. I mean, just for instance, Scary was just killing it on the game 1 or 2. His game,
Yeah,
because
against the NID player. Yeah, it was Scary versus
yeah,
the NID player. Yeah, that was
yeah,
good.
it opens you up for people finding out these people exist. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
oh, you
I
are,
had
you
no
stream here,
idea.
you do this.
I
Yeah,
talked about this previously on our podcast. I had no idea that Scar's been making 40K content for like 10 years, for like a decade.
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty impressive. Like not only is he like way ahead of the game on making content, but like wow, that's an in-depth knowledge of like, because now that I'm trying to make some content with you and we're trying to do some GG stuff on the fun side, I've honestly researched more trying to do a video on GG than I've ever prepared for a tournament. Because like I don't want to be wrong in a video, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to be like, hey, this is what I think, and then someone comes in the
Forever,
comments and they're like,
forever. Alan's wrong.
you don't even
Forever.
know how to perceive rules, man. What's wrong with you? So yeah, I can definitely respect the content side a lot more now that I tried it. I dabbled in it. Nothing as extreme as these guys. These guys are doing amazing. And I thought the production quality was really good and everything too. Like,
They look strong.
yeah.
Really made me want to up my game even more now on the thing, because some of the streams are really, really strong, man. I did enjoy it. I liked everybody getting a little bit of shout out. I liked when you know how I feel about it. I love when the community comes together and does some stuff. I think that's just such a big deal. In basically to help each other, especially in fucking, we've got a lot of negativity. Like for instance, ATC is now not happening. That was one of the big things that we had been talking about that
Yeah.
we were hoping to be excited about for this year. So I think that you have to create your own excitement and positivity right now in the community. That's
Yeah,
just my opinion.
definitely. Yeah. Especially with the fact that like we don't even know when, things will get back to normal. If things will get back to normal ever. Like right now, things are looking rougher and rougher, right? I mean, so
Especially for the States, because like right now you've got a couple places. I mean, we got a couple places. I mean, unless you're at an island, sorry, Aussie and Kiwis, we're basically all jelly. because you guys went, oh, cool, you guys are sick, go away.
Yeah, no, but it was like a meme, like the Back to the Future meme, like where he's like, "Oh, you guys are 2020, so first year of COVID," and like that was funny. That was like funny last year in April, like it's not funny anymore. Now it's like, holy crap, like this is like a real thing. Like people are not quarantining, people are not staying away, so like this could last for a long time.
I think you have to get things like this going, and I love the fact that they got this going.
Yeah, this was awesome
because of the fact that you're looking at, Daniel actually had a good point about this today, and we were talking. It's not that just things are bad right now. It's the fact that you don't have you getting you through dark times is when you look into the future for what you're going to do that's good. But right now we don't have a time. You can't book a trip. You can't go see your friends overseas. You can't do any of these things. You don't know when you're going to go to a tournament.
Even local communities hit really hard. I know of an event that happened recently. James Carmona reached out to me on that one. We can talk about that too. I was really excited just to hear about it, just to hear like how the Army did, how he did, because we've been talking about that Army list for a while. We've been, spitballing ideas, and James has been really in the pilot seat with that whole thing, and it was just awesome for me to hear how his event went. How even though it's a small event.
He did really well.
But yeah, even the local scene is hurting. Forget about traveling and all that stuff, like the stuff that we're used to doing every year, especially you, with like all the ETC since 2013. But like, man, even local stuff's hurt. So, but on a brighter note, let's transition to that real quick. Chaos just doing really well at an event out on the West Coast. James was piloting it.
Dude, I mean, back to back though, in two different. The thing I think right now I like about Chaos is ready. The Aussie Masters, Chaos in one of their big tournaments. Chaos took the 2 top spots with really off-meta armies. Chaos just did super well with Carmona with another off-meta list, which throw that list down.
Yeah, I mean, the gist of his army, he was running, he was running kind of like an Abaddon cultist army to take up board presence, but then the majority of how he's really interacting with his opponent are a unit of Raptors, a unit of Terminators, and he's essentially using psychic powers to get them, aggressively up in their face. So he's charging up the Raptors, making sure that they're really aggressive turn 1, bringing in the Terminators from reserves, and he's got Combi Plasma on those Terminators right now. I think he took a small second unit of Terminators, which I think after us talking, he's considering making that one even bigger. But the real trick kind of in his list that people aren't seeing a lot is Noise Marines too, and the damage output that Noise Marines can do. And like when you look at all of these things in Chaos, like individually, you're like, oh, okay, that's good. It's okay. It does that, does this. But what you don't see is all of the little combinations, all of the synergies, the special things, the relics, the warlord traits, the stratagems, everything that they have in addition. And you put it all in James's hands, who understands the codex front and back. And he really, he's the kind of player, he's very similar. We've never actually played. I've just known James for a long time, but we never actually played a game. But he seems like he's very similar to the way I play, where I'm kind of all in on an approach. And when you have somebody like that playing Chaos, they don't care. They just burn 8 CP on one strat, on one general strategy, right? So it's a bunch of strats, it's a bunch of things like put this unit within range, make sure they get these rerolls, make sure they get the +1 here, make sure they get that, yada, yada, yada. But he hits really hard. And, he has like the underlying foundation of having the word bearers list, so he guarantees psychic powers, having an Emperor's Children army, so he guarantees charges. There's little sneaky things in there that only like a really good player can see. And last time I spoke to him was yesterday, and I was telling him, imagine when Raptors get 2 wounds. Dude, like you're already playing this now.
I already like that. Terminators.
Imagine when they get better.
So but the thing is Chaos has been that way for a long time, in the fact that they have so many pieces that work together. And I think that only people that play Chaos a lot and are good generals get the full usage out of that kind of thing right now. And I think it's only going to get better. Super
impressive. Just talking to him, he's one of those guys that like I can speak with, and like we just kind of know where we're going when we're talking armies, and it's really cool to have someone like that. So if you do have someone like that, shout out to those guys, those friends you have, who are helping you out with lists and helping you out with thinking about new cool ways to get you excited about the game, right? With COVID and everything going on right now, it's really important to just kind of remember that this is supposed to be a fun game with friends. And there's nothing better right now than to just like spitball army lists that get both people excited from a model perspective, from a concept perspective, from a design perspective. Even though we can't, I mean, I can't get in the game, but James is playing it for me, and I'm vicariously living through that experience.
Well, the thing is with that right now, I want to talk about, because at least it looks like the European community hopefully will be in the WTC. I think that you're going to have a really different meta than we've ever had, because a lot of times the WTC, what happens is you have most teams bringing 6 of very, very similar lists, and then maybe 2 outliers. But right now, they've already voted that you're going to get one army out of all the Marines, because the Marines are no longer their own codexes, they're supplements. So you're going to basically take, you think of these, I'm going to take Dark Angels, I'm going to take White Skies, I'm going to take Wolves. You're like, no, you're going to take one of those now. You know what I mean? So it opens up what you're going to do in things. Also, I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look. You can give them feedback too. The WTC's guys, Neil and Domino, everybody are very, very good about just accepting recommendations on that. Take a look at the WTC terrain packet right now, which is very heavy terrain. And I think, man, that we were talking a little bit about it last week, but in a team tournament, I would go Allen style and do team. I think you could actually do team horde right now.
So I think I got a couple points to bring up on this one, actually, Brad. I was listening to a podcast recently, and I started doing that now, listening to more content. I can't remember who it was, actually, to be honest with you. So if anyone in the comments knows what I'm talking about, please, give them a shout out. But the podcast was interviewing some Polish players from the WTC. It might have been Neil's podcast. I believe this is Neil's podcast all about the WTC. That's what I think, but I'm not positive. Do you know the name of Neil's podcast, Brad? I feel really bad that I don't know the name of it off the top of my head.
Yes, look it up. But my brain doesn't work.
Yeah, I know. Your brain. Sorry, I put Brad on the spot, and that's not fair to Brad. He's got other issues. Going back to my point, though, there was this Polish team captain and team talking about how they've been doing tabletop simulator within Poland, right? But then they got to the point where they can't just do it in Poland anymore. They got to do it outside of Poland too. And I believe they did it with France, and I think they did it with the UK and other teams. And they actually had mini round simulations, but they actually played through them on TTS with other countries, simulating kind of a practice for WTC. And they found out that there's army lists they didn't even consider. There's metas they didn't even consider. So I think TTS is actually going to help the WTC players probably come up with, I would say, 4, maybe half of the team in lists that everyone's aware of. And I think those are mainly the AdMech list right now that's really traveling around a lot with the robots and the Onager gauntlets and the disintegrator shots and that famous AdMech list. I think that's one. Now we could talk about what we think the others are.
The Art of War Down Under was the cast that talked to the Polish WTC guys.
Thanks, Diego. Yeah. So Diego, other guy that I love talking to about 40K. We just play Call of Duty Warzone and chat 40K all the time, and he's just makes literally this guy will make 6 White Scars armies in 3 games of Call of Duty. He's like, Alan, let me tell you this new one, and we're shooting people, getting out of a bunker, getting in and out of helicopters. He's just like, so yeah, what do you think about that one? The Blade Guard, yeah. I was like, yeah, that sounds good. Let me kill this guy in the gulag. Give me a sec. So. But
I'd also like to I'm going to call you out because I was waiting for Alan to get done before we could record some videos over the weekend. And Alan's like, hold on a minute. I got to finish this off. And I go, are you playing a team game? Where's your teammates? He's like, nah, I only like playing 1 versus 3s. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
So I thought I was good at Call of Duty, and I was playing with a lot of people who were a lot worse than me. And then I started playing with Diego. And then I realized that I'm not good at Call of Duty. I was like, I need to really up my game. So I've been playing on my free time, when I have free time, which I don't have a lot of. But when I do, I'll get on for a quick 1 game and I'll leave. And I'll play trios by myself. And I'll try to kill a whole trio team. That's my only goal. My only goal is to kill an entire trio team by myself. So that when I play with Diego, I don't look like such a scrub. It's pretty much the goal.
Is he doing backflip headshots?
Dude, he's good, man. He's real good. He snaps on and off, but he's he's one of the most consistent good players I've ever played with. I have another friend who drops a 25, 30 bomb every once in a while, but he'll have games where he has no kills at all, for a long period of time. And then all of a sudden he drops a 20. And I'm just like, that's kind of weird. But yeah, no, we have fun. We play late, man. He plays till 3 in the morning his time. So
Nothing wrong with that.
it's like a big time Call of Duty player. But anyways, going back to the WTC thing, Brad, I know you were going my direction with all Horde, but do you think that Tabletop Simulator might create its own meta? And then if somebody came without playing any Tabletop Simulator, could they potentially break that whole thing?
Yes, because I think that Tabletop Simulator is fantastic to getting people together, but it still has very big limitations on the basically the assault phase and manipulating through terrain. You know what I mean?
Hey, James. So James just commented that he beat your salamanders list. I didn't mean to interrupt you, James. Rewind the podcast. Just rewind the podcast. But go ahead, Brad.
All kinds of props, bro. And
go ahead, Brad.
And also, the funny thing is that you played Logan this week, and he was like, I needed to know more about this before I ever played it. So
what do Noise Marines do? I love telling people what Noise Marines do now. But anyways, you were talking about TTS and how it creates a meta, but you don't like it.
But I think it creates more of a shooting meta right now because of the interactions with stuff. It's just difficult to move. I mean, obviously, I'm an old man, so I can barely use TTS anyways. So, but I think that you're going to see more, especially with more terrain that's at the WTC. I think that you have more of a meta for the ability to do Allen style, just team Horde, because when the people think Horde, they're like, oh, the Horde has to go do this and they have to do this. No, if you have a heavy terrain board and you have things, let's just say orcs, and you've got a bunch of units of boys, you just go, all right, cool. Well, I got 30 boys on this objective with a 5++, and I'm sitting here. Maybe you have 6 up Fin Pain. I'm sitting in an L. I'm sitting in a ruin. I'm not going to let your entire anything in your army see me. Cool. Dig me off of all these objectives. I'm going to sit on all the objectives, and I'll try to kill, off one objective maybe on your side. Yeah. But if you take the board, especially in those 6 objective games where you're like 2-2-2, 2 in each deployment zone.
And you can do it, by the way. You can do 8 armies of Horde. I've done the math. I've done the army list writing. I've proposed this before in the past multiple times. It's like, hey guys, why don't we all just show up with the same thing?
I don't think that the thing is that in a normal team, and obviously it's going to be different because we were talking about the fact it's going to be different. You're going to have different armies because we'll have less Marines and shit like that. But also, I don't think you're going to have multiple armies that just cannot deal with that many models. Yeah. Like you just don't have. I've changed my.
And you also have to bring in players who have Horde experience.
Carmona, it's been called out right now. The list has been changed. He wants a rematch.
That's
San
funny.
Diego,
That's
the
funny.
gauntlet's been thrown down.
Oh, Logan is like, nah, bro. Can't let this happen. Logan, you represent Brad, all right? But James talks to me, so obviously you're going to lose.
No, because if it was that, they would somehow.
I don't mean that. James 100% owns his entire strategy. He knows that stuff better than me. He teaches me, actually. I don't teach him.
If you were teaching him, it would be like somehow you guys would both go undefeated and he would score 5 points.
Yeah, if I taught James, he would have lost. So he teaches me how to do that strategy, and I just listen. I go, interesting. I mainly just play devil's advocate. But to your point, Brad, it's really important if you're going to go that route. So for any WTC players, if they're like listening to us and going, which I doubt they are, but if they were, you have to also recruit players who understand how to play a Horde-based strategy. Because there was this one year that this guy convinced his whole team to bring Fire Raptors to a tournament. And that guy did very, very well because he understood how Fire Raptors work. Put them in a box. They all get a 4+ save. They reroll all their shots, and they ignore cover. It's a sound strategy. The rest of his team did not understand that strategy, so they all lost. Well,
I heard no one owned the book that you were getting all the stuff from too.
No, I had a photocopies or something. I don't know, electronic copy. So
I love you. Literally had. I'm not even going to name the player, but you got halfway through the ATC until they found out formations existed, and you're
no. I confirmed all of that. I confirmed formations. I confirmed death from the skies. I confirmed it all. I literally made all the Fire Raptors 10 days before army lists were due because I was like, this pivot is flawless. Like we auto win ATC. Like this is the funniest troll move you can possibly do, right? Like dreadnoughts in drop pods that they can just hide inside of the pods. You have to kill the pod that come on first turn, and then second turn 4 Fire Raptors come on and kill everything. And I was like, how can I double down on this? Oh, 3 Helldrakes in one list, 3 Hemlocks in another list, like 4 Storm Talons in another list. Like it was insane. Like it was a brilliant idea. Just no one knew how to play it except for me. That was the same ATC. Mitch lost to both female competitors at ATC, and you cannot say that Mitch is not the best guy you've ever met. He is the best guy you've ever met, and it was pretty funny. So.
No, but let's go. Let's flip back into the Horde thing.
Backflip.
Surprise!
You can do so much to basically have a team that scores, like, on the 20-0 system, we'll go again. You can have an entire team that's basically putting up 10s. You know what I mean? Almost the entire time.
Oh, you need someone to get a 20 because if everyone put up 10, you draw.
But you need 86 points. You know what I'm saying? So, but you can literally. But I'm saying you can deny so many points because you literally move up a horde of guys on the objective.
No, I mean the theory, Brad, is really simple. It's like if you brought 8 Horde armies, your opponent's team might have 3 armies that crush them, but then they have 5 that get crushed. That's kind of the approach, right?
But I'm saying also, because of the fact that the terrain's so heavy, you can literally just sit on things and auto take points.
Yeah, I was kind of annoyed.
I
was kind of annoyed last week when I'm like, oh, dude, I played one game with this army. I had so much fun. 3 Keepers, Magnus Morty, and you take some Demonettes and some Fiends, and you just play this awesome Monster Mash army, which actually, it's Diego's army. Me and Diego both made this army, and we talked about it on Warzone at the same time. I'm like, hey, I'm thinking of the exact same army. And so Diego actually gets a lot of credit here too, because he came up with the same thing, and it's really, really fun. And then when I talked about it here, you and Daniel are like, I only really care about WTC, and that army can't move anywhere. Like that army's just stuck.
Their current
can't go that way.
Would just make it so that nothing happened.
Where do I go?
Yeah. And that's where I kept going into the Horde, though, because if you're looking, and if you haven't, go to the WTC site, look at the terrain. They literally have all their stuff down. They got
a really good packet. It's really solid.
Yeah. But they're
not saying I agree with the terrain, but
their current proposed terrain is basically 2 light,
very clear,
and 6 that are pretty heavy. You know
very
what I mean?
clear.
And the thing is that playing Horde, you can literally just sit behind things and go, hey, your army has 1 million guns. You're playing AdMech with 1 million guns. Cool. I'm just going to keep my entire army hidden.
Yeah, and you can also defend with like your weakest Horde, and then you pick the board with the most terrain. So.
Yep. And then you just sit there, and you're like, hey, their army that was supposed to get a 20 now get a 10, and that's a huge win for your team.
And then if you can make 2 army lists of like very shooty Horde, like very shooty but Horde related, then what you could do is you can attack with both as a trap. So if they're defending with an army and they're like, oh, I'm going to take the board with no cover, you're like, okay, that's fine. We have 2 Horde armies that are all shooty based. So it's like, how do I win this now? Like if I defend and take the board with no cover, I'm like giving them what they want. They want a shooty game with that list, even though it's Horde. And if they defend with an army that's pure Horde, like assault based, they defend and then they take the heavy board. So you're kind of losing on both sides. It's kind of hard. You know what I mean?
I just think, that's the biggest strategy everybody has, and that is to force people into matches that you want them to have, kind of thing, the double attack. But if you have like basically your army is that general strategy, I don't think that people will have the ability, especially if they keep the tables the same. I think there's a lot to be said if the tables are lighter, but if you have those heavy type of tables, you can literally just sit and
I hope they have good coverage. So Neil, I hope you guys do some broadcasting of the WTC. Take a note from what the NOPEN just did this weekend, which was revolutionary for 40K, I think, and see what you guys can do. I mean, if there's any way in hell I can travel to it, I will, but I don't think it's going to be possible in the time frame. Yeah. But
the thing is that you got to the ATC now 2 years ago. Was that the year that I won? Yes, it is. But they did the entirety of the top table was had streams, and that would be fantastic if we had an entire setup. You know what I mean, for tables at the WTC where we could check out the games.
We should just call 9th First Edition now. Like before, it's BC. Before COVID is BC. We're now in after COVID AC, right? So we just call 9th First. We start over. You winning ATC doesn't matter. You got to do it again. No one knows who you are anymore. I mean, that's just a relative thing for you, anyways. You're used to that.
Why did none of my tournament wins ever count?
Yeah, none of your tournaments ever counted. But yeah, Diego's funny. Diego goes, the light tables at WTC look like heavy tables for ETC years past, and that's so true. I played in 2013. I played on a table at the ETC, Brad, do you remember that game we had against Germany when I played the Hive Tyrants
Yes.
with the orc list? I was just laughing because there's
You
just
mean the one where he just stood there and couldn't understand what happened because
there was no terrain. So there was no terrain, and I had smash guns like the old smash guns, which were fantastic.
It was also hammer and anvil.
Yeah, and it was hammer and anvil, and I'm just like, he has all his Hive Tyrants, right, Diego? And there's no terrain at all on the board. So like, I have visibility on everything. Whatever I want to shoot at, I can shoot at. And I'm just downing these guys. I'm like, roll it. It's a one downed. It's a one down. He's just like, what is going on? And who's in front of the smash guns? The Lucky Sticks.
The best
the
part
Lucky
about
Sticks,
it was
baby.
Lucky Sticks in front of the smash guns. The best is still, he had the confused face because you just pulled up. You literally ran everything right away and then stopped at the exact mid board.
It stopped, exactly.
It never moved after that.
No, why?
Throughout the entire game.
No, I knew how to play it because we played it in Sweden. And Daniel's, Brad at Daniel's place or at Henrik's place was like, I don't know how your list works. And then like we play a game, and at the end of the game, he's like, your list is actually very good. And then Nick Brown is like, his list is garbage. It's terrible. So I play Nick, and I got lucky. I'll admit that I got lucky. On turn 1, I downed Fate Weaver. So like hit her, wounded her. She fell out of the sky, got downed on a 1 or 2, whatever it was, hit the ground, and then I charged her, and Fate Weaver died. And then Nick was like, yeah, we don't need to play anymore. We're good. Your list is fine. Your list is fine. She walked away. And that's when he proceeded to have romantic relationships with Mike Brown's Wave Serpent. We won't talk about that on this podcast.
You were all, the best part about it is I think I played all my games in the proper house, and I basically only played the one against you in the actual 40K house.
Yeah. The 40K house was sick.
That was at Henrik's place.
Yeah.
Shout out to Henrik.
Henrik has a shed, like a very large shed, like a shed where you can put like a Shelby GT500 and like do some body work on it. That kind of a shed. But instead,
I think that counts as a garage at that point in time.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
And then, but instead, well, it had a second floor. It's like a second floor shed. It's like a small house. He had like a small house, and it was all 40K tables. It's pretty sick. That's like my dream right now. I'm gonna do that with my GME profits. It's just small house building somewhere. So we're gonna make that happen. Brad's like, yeah, whatever, man.
All about it. Bring down the man.
Oh my god, it's so funny,
dude. I am but all of the stuff, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for team building. I actually just joined team. I'm going to try to play TTS. Who knows what can happen there.
That's cool.
Whew. I actually said that I'm going to play in a TTS tournament, international TTS tournament, and I said that I'll probably get all my wins for everybody because my opponents will all rage quit because I'm so bad at moving anything on TTS that they're just going to leave the game. They'll just be like, look, dude, I don't want to play anymore.
I think for team events, I know ATCs doesn't look good. Well, it's probably not going to happen. But
I mean, they're not just looking good. They just said they're not.
Yeah, they said they're not going to happen. But LVO / Frontline Gaming, I believe, is trying to make a team event just like ATC in the fall. Now that might have a chance. That'd be awesome. I'd love to go to Vegas for that. That'd be really cool. So that's something to look forward to.
So we're putting together our team. Okay, got it.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I'd love to put together a team. That'd be awesome. I mean, the fact that Adepticon's not happening is my biggest. It's my biggest driver. So without that, I need something.
You got to manufacture positivity right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna try to make more content. I've been thinking about using content as a way to get excited about list creation and painting and building and stuff like that. Maybe I'll go that route and see how that works out. I think that's definitely something that I could consider. I know for you, it's hard.
You did get shamed by Daniel in his just insanity output.
I haven't seen anything though. It's all talk, bro. It's all talk. He organized some bits. My bits are already organized. I don't need to organize anything.
He painted so much shit.
Let me see it. He painted some Harlequins. I saw some Harlequins. Bullshit, Daniel. I call bullshit. Let me see it. Next podcast, you better be ready to throw down. I better see a throwdown.
Yeah, that's true.
Take your phone, record some of this stuff. I painted 6 Valkyries and 3 Vendettas.
Yeah,
bullshit.
That is true. Texas and Florida will have something happening because they give no fucks.
I just like giving Daniel shit because we totally had a miscommunication today and went to go live. So
you should have put up my drawing of Daniel. That would have been still my favorite.
Oh, that would have been good. Do I still have that? No, the best podcast we ever had was when I put that girl from Sweden up instead of Daniel. The one who cares about global warming. That was the best. I thought that was funny.
I am not happy about these things canceling. I just gotta get psyched up, man. It's tough to make, as he would say, to harden your lists up.
Harden.
When you don't have a reason to harden lists up. So I want to start getting involved in different things, looking ahead. You know what I mean?
Yep. I think painting and stuff like that is what I'm going to do. For you, I don't know what you're going to do. You should do more coaching and consulting.
I am. If I wasn't coaching, I wouldn't be as involved because I'm just like meh about stuff. But having to know different lists to make sure that I'm on top of things actually helps me a lot with the game. Because I always make sure, because I got my old man notes always, because I write everything down because I'm 1,000. But I got ideas and everything else.
I don't know what James is trying to say. James, you need to chill out, bro. We gave you some kudos. You're letting it get to your head, man. Chill out. You still lost to Necrons. I know that. So he's gonna call me later, bro. What the hell? Why you got to bring up sore subjects?
Too soon,
man. Too soon. Did you see GME today? Too soon. He's gonna make fun of me. Anyways, what would be really cool is if you do TTS, we should do a TTS game. I would do a TTS game with you if we streamed it.
Yes. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna give you.
But here's the funniest thing in the world, Brad. You ready for this? You will have to actually explain to me technologically like how it works. Like I have no idea how to use DTS. I used it one time for Trevor's league. By the way, Trevor, Tactical Tortoise YouTube channel. The dude's awesome. The amount of work he puts into his videos is insanity. Now that I try to stream or do whatever the hell I'm trying to do, Trevor and Tactical Tortoise are like insane mode. He is working his ass off. I can tell you because I look at his videos and they're amazing. And the amount of effort and work he puts into them is insane. So go on YouTube and follow him and like him and watch some of his stuff. But I did his TTS tournament once, Brad, once. And I literally quit. I quit the game round one. I just couldn't do it anymore. There's just no way. It just wasn't possible.
I played a couple games. Every game of TTS I've ever played with people I know, what happened is people got so upset at my inability to move models that they moved all of my models for me. Just asked me where I wanted to go. Yeah, like, dude, you gotta stop. It's just painful.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to do that either. That would be bad. No.
So no, but I gotta call you out. No, because you're talking about streaming a game on this. So Mr. Allen Pajama Pants literally invited Daniel and I to play a game via proxy at his house. So we were.
Yeah, you guys couldn't do it though because the models were not real. You guys all got like, don't you actually have that model? Yeah, but I'm not gonna grab that model.
You have to. If people have to hear about this, they have to hear the sorrow and the pain. This bait. He did a bait and switch. We got clickbaited. So he says we're gonna do this. It's gonna be awesome. Alan, by the way, owns every model in the universe, and if he doesn't, he'll just make the model. Okay. So we start playing. We're ready to get the game going. First off, Alan instead of using the good cameras he has, he tries to show us things with the Blair Witch Project cam. So we're both sick to our stomach because he's like moving back and forth with it, going out of focus and bigging it out. We're both just throwing up on the side. But even though he shows us bins with the models that we could be using, and then instead proxies, different models on a stream game, and we're like, dude, you own those. He's like, yeah, but they're in a box. You were holding the box with those models. Yeah, but it's on the ground now. Like I can see it. I can literally still see the box on the ground. You're like, yeah, but these crew mercenaries are attack bikes. This is this. I'm like, I can't even keep track of my proxies, and I don't know why I have to because you own the models.
It was pretty funny.
No, the best part
is when I showed you the model to ask you how well it was painted. I was like, look, isn't this squad really well painted? And you guys are like,
yes, yeah, he did do it. He literally showed me an entire unit.
I didn't want to break those models. Okay, for those who don't know me, right? I don't tend to treat models well when playing. So I have models that I built and painted for the purposes of looking at. A lot of my Adepticon armies are like, those don't ever get touched again. They just go in a case. And anything else, which is a lot, like 99% of what I own, I just beat the hell out of. And I just play with those instead. Like I literally played with primed lizard men for 3 years in every single practice game I've ever had. Just I have an entire like 5,000 points of lizard men painted for fantasy on square bases. Used it for every playtest game I've ever had. All of them. Like the rhinoceros is a rhino.
I do like the fact that you would
clear
kind of the board off by sky hooking all your models.
Yeah.
Into a bit.
How did I bring my orcs to ETC?
Bags, giant bags.
Giant bags. How did I take them out and deploy them?
Dump them onto the ground.
Shaking the bag. Shaking the bag. Exactly. How did I dispose of them when done at the end of the tournament?
Oh, this is actually a fantastic story.
No, just say it. No, you have to tell the story. Just say it.
No, but the look of sorrow on people's faces is just still something.
These are just facts. That's why I didn't pull out the models. That's why, because those are nice models.
He takes out all of his fucking cannons and smashes them on the ground because he doesn't want to have to take them back home through the flight. And people are
Can I buy those?
Yes, literally, no. I will buy these from. He's like, I'd rather smash them. Like, what's wrong with you?
Problems, bro.
Good time.
But I'm changing on that though, Brad. After seeing the NOPEN and seeing the level of enthusiasm behind the hobby and the level of enthusiasm behind showmanship and production quality, and seeing all of these dudes really step it up in all the other channels and all the other forms of media around 40K, it was cool, man. Like, originally I think before the NOPEN, I was probably like very ignorant in how many different groups and people are making content. And post NOPEN, I'm like super appreciative of all of the different teams that put in the effort, because nobody's making a living wage doing this. Sorry, let me rephrase that. People are making a living wage, probably. I don't know. But nobody's making millions of dollars doing this. So they're doing it mainly probably because they love it. They love it. And if they're making money, great. But like almost everyone creating content is doing it probably because it's what they want to do. Not what they have to do, not the job they got stuck in. It's what they really legitimately want to do. And that's pretty freaking cool. So that's kind of what I took away from it.
I really liked it this weekend. I thought there was some really great looking games for sure. People did a really good job, and I just like to bring the community together, man. You gotta create. Like I said, we have to create some excitement, man. You know what I mean? We've got a lot of negative shit going on, and we got to stop being. I know I'm starting to sound like I'm on my platform of everybody should get along thing, but like, man, I feel like we had multiple groups that basically probably really never interacted with each other, all coming together and doing stuff, and it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And it gives you something to think for. You know what I mean? I like the fun competitive atmosphere all the time. And the thing is, man, and I'm gonna give this is a side thing, but it's half the reason that Alan and I started doing this is we together, like when Alan and I play a game, for instance, it's each of us is trying to win as hard as we can, but the game's always super fun and exciting every single fucking time. And we don't have to like be a super competitive game. Doesn't have to be a game about being a dick. And that shows.
It was one time. I was once a dick to Brad, and I have to apologize it for the rest of my life. One time, when I was worried about potentially losing the ITC, I maybe might have deployed Brad's Wraith Knight in a particular way, and he said it was fine. And then I proceeded with my turn, and I was in Psychic Scream range of that said Wraith Knight by two bees dicks. Two bees dicks. Yeah, two bees dicks within range, but I was within. And Brad's like, well, just move him back because I wouldn't have ever deployed him in range. And I was like, nah, bro, it's there. You said it was okay, so I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to roll this Psychic Scream. And I didn't think it was going to be a big idea. Wraith Lord's like, what, leadership 10, right?
You rolled an 18.
I know I did. I was getting to that point. But, like, it wasn't technically a big deal at the time because it's like a leadership 10 thing, so I'm going to roll an 11. He's taking a wound. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna let this go through, Brad. Like, I'm going to be a douche and let this go through. I rolled an 18, and it was bad. And I ended up winning that game. And then I did Brad dirty. I ended up winning that game. I didn't need to win that game because the only person who was even within a chance of beating me, they had to win the whole tournament to beat me, but they lost that round also. So it was already locked up. So the very next game, I didn't have to win that game. I had to go get married. And that's what I did. I made sure to go get married. And I was like, damn, if Brad beat me, I still would have won the ITC and Brad would have probably won LVO. And I feel bad about it to this day. So,
and then I went with you.
Because the guy I played after Brad was like the easiest game in the world to win, because it was a game where the primary objective gave me extra points on the majority of his army. Like the majority of what he took was bonus points on the primary. So it was very hard not to win that game. But anyways, sorry, Brad. I apologize.
All of the good news.
I apologize, my friend. But other than that, we do have fun games. I think that The Boys was a good game. I don't remember it, but it was a good game. ATC was a good game. So I miss them.
All of the good times.
I think next time we should talk, we should break down some lists maybe next time. Or
I want to do Dark Angels. I want to live for the book actually to be like legally out.
Dark Angels?
So Dark Angels, but
okay.
Dark Angels are nasty right now, man.
Yeah. But like,
There's
don't we already know kind of what to
real-
play? Inner Circle, whatever.
It's just the way that they can now make it, because you can have OPSEC bikes.
Oh, okay.
So and they literally have.
Are you seeing? Are
Are
you predicting a shift away from the transhuman like army approach? I feel like that's just so good.
No, I
like the way
think
they're
that you're
gonna
going to
play.
have one unit of that. I think you're going to. I think that army already has shifted to be one brick of Terminators, and then the rest of the stuff being speed and stuff. And because of that, yeah, it's nuts, Carmona,
Okay.
dude. We'll touch. We'll just do a tip, because the next time we're going to go full list breakdown.
Yeah, we're trying to change up our tune a little bit, get a little bit more productionalized, and give some flashes of what we're going to do next time. Don't give too much of a tip, Brad. Just give like your kind of tip, not mine.
I know one thing. They have a psychic power that literally shuts off a unit OPSEC. It doesn't have line of sight, and it's 24 inches. And they have bikes that can be OPSEC, so you can literally cast it, not reveal yourself, zoom up a 90-point unit of bikes, boom, you take the objective because you're OPSEC, you just move 23 inches.
Sounds like you can't do that though if I have a horde and I take up all of the space in the objective.
Exactly. That's another reason it's just going to change play style, I think. The Death Guard and Dark Angels, I feel, are actually going to change the way you play more so than a lot of armies do.
Very interesting. So I think that's what we're going to discuss next week's podcast. We're also going to have a couple of videos that are going to come out that we pre-recorded because we weren't actually doing a stream on the NOPEN because we just couldn't. And you know, Brad knew with COVID going on, Brad's game was canceled and repositioned, and TJ played someone else. And you know, hopefully, if it happens again, we'd love to participate and do a stream. But we were really proud of what everyone did as part of the community. So it was really cool. But you can log in though on YouTube, subscribe, like some of our videos to see future videos. We're going to have a couple of those in between now and next week's podcast. And then next week, it sounds like, Brad, you want to talk about Dark Angels and how they change the game.
Indeed. And then all I have to say is dance.
I like that.